Okay, so I've not posted for a while, but we're doing a chicken saag. So this is part one. This is the curry base. So you've got to make this for any authentic curry. So I suppose it doesn't have to be for a saag, but that's what we're doing today. So you've got a load of onions, 8 large onions, which just go into the pot. Doing in a massive pot, as you can see. That sounds like a load of onions, but you need it for the flavour. Right, so that's in there. And you've got 8 cloves of garlic and about a tablespoon and a half of ginger. And then it's a tablespoon and a half of coriander powder. 1, 2 tablespoon and a half of cumin powder, we've got a teaspoon and a half of turmeric, or approximately. I mean, when you're doing it with curry it has to be exact, but for the curry base it can be a little bit off, but obviously not too much. Oops. Teaspoon and a half of salt. Oops. And then it's a cup, American style, so it's about 23 ml of vegetable oil. It's 2.8 litres of boiling water. This is about 2 litres, just be careful. Okay, just hang tight there. So what, that 800-ish. Yeah, I'll do. No, a bit more because it was a bit. 2.8 litres of boiling water. That was a put it on. And then about 15 stalks of coriander including the stalks. Right, so much as the prep's a right pain, once it's done like that, just hang on. Right, so just give it a little buzz about. Right, you're going to leave that to boil gently boil should I say, for about an hour. Bring it to the boil and then turn it down, and then we're going to add those, but we'll come back in about an hour. Right, so while that's bubbling away, I will show you the Indian spice mix, which I just put in one of these and it'll last you months and months. So it's basically just a mix of spices. So, I've got enough here. 4 tablespoons of coriander powder. Shove that all in, and it's just a little bit behind you. What I reckon about half. And the different colours, you can tell the difference between the authentic and not. Right, and then it's 2 tablespoons of cumin powder. Right in front of my face. Actually, I've got a big one of these, excuse me. So 2 tablespoons of this. This does need to be pretty much exact. Well, it does need to be exact. 2 of those. 4 tablespoons of turmeric. Yeah, 3 tablespoons of paprika. Carefully put that back together. 2 tablespoons of mild curry powder. That were a bit less, so I'll put that one a bit more. Sorry. Where's that chilli powder? That's that. So 1 teaspoon of chilli powder. This is a ½ teaspoon measure, so 2 of these. You can put 2 in if you want, but you're already going to put fresh chilies and stuff in the thingy. And then a teaspoon of garam masala. So you can use this for all sorts of curry. It's just the Indian spice mix base. So look at all that then. You only use a teaspoon, or like 2 teaspoons in the actual curry. Give it a little buzz about again. And then you just keep that in your cupboard and use as and when. Okay, so we'll come back in about 50 minutes when this is. Have a look at that. That's just bubbling away nicely. Okay, about 50 minutes. Okay, so this has been simmering away for an hour. Just give it a little stir about. And then in with 1 can of tomatoes. Just 1. Give it a stir, and then that's just going to gently simmer for 20 minutes and then we'll come back. Okay, so that's been an hour and 20 minutes. We've got our Indian spice mix done, we'll be using that later. So the next thing is to whiz this up. I've got one of these, which is brill. It is a bit hot, you should probably wait till it cools down, but give it a bit of a stir. Just be careful, because if it spits out, it's hot. You see that? Look, still so keep going. That's just the ginger, I think, isn't it? Right, just keep going until... You're done then, but unfortunately you're not. But obviously once this curry base is done... Okay, so you're just going to put it back on. Bring it back to the boil. And then you've got to wait for the oil to separate, so we'll come back in 10 minutes.
What do I press?
The red!
Oh shit, can you snip it? Oh, can you cut back?
Okay, so it's been going now for about 15 minutes. If you get that scum on the top, that's fine, just stir it in. But you've got to wait for the oil to come to the top and it sort of separates. But that can take up to an hour. So as soon as it starts separating, we'll come back. Okay, so this has been about an hour. As you can see, it's got a bit of scum on the top and the oil separated slightly. So you just stir it back in. And that is part one, your curry base. So you can use this for, I reckon, all sorts of different curries. We're going to come back in part two and do chicken saag.